Well, here I am. It's Tuesday and it's time for a reading. Wearing my bone jewelry that my friend Bird makes. I love her work, just saying. She is Native American. She's Lakota Sioux. And she makes some of the most beautiful jewelry I have seen here in a long time. I love Native American jewelry and her work is phenomenal. So, the lady across the hall was so God blessed and loud during my last session. I mean, it's like four doors in between, and I can hear her conversation over my music or whatever. And I'm deaf in one ear on top of that. All those rock concerts I went to when I was a young whippersnapper. And so I'm like, so I'm in a smudge because her energy is just like kind of got me off someplace else. I just want to like open the door and yell, shut up. Even though shut up is not one of my words that I like to use. So, whew. But anyway, yeah, she got me in a little bit of and it's kind of like one of those days that, um, the energy just kind of is like, it's like whatever it can do to get me riled up, it will do, right? So, one of my friends gave me this deck, and I'm going to show you the box. It's the Modern Witch deck by Lisa. Looks like Sterle. So we'll call her Sterile. I don't know. Lisa somebody or other. So it's a really kind of cool deck. And I'm like, it's like people will laugh, and I'm like, gee, this is like trying to like shuffle 5 decks. So, some of it's going to go like in my lap here. And I'm going to cross my fingers that we don't have any cards that go flying out. We're going to cross our fingers because I don't want any cards flying out. So what kind of groovy things do we have going on right now? Well, we have a Reiki class. I want to say it's the 24th of April. We have a Reiki first degree CPR for the soul class, and that's April 24th. So if you're interested in taking that class, please give me a text, 405-549-3766. And okay, there we go. Don't go anywhere. Okay, I love doing readings. They're like one of my favorite things to do. I mean, because it's like you start the conversation out with a couple of cards, and then after a while, the energy is flowing, and you just read, and it's more of like a coaching session than anything else. What I love about reading is to look in somebody's energy or our own energy or the energy around us, and being able to see what some of the obstacles or challenges might be, and then you can start modifying how you're going to react or think, what's your plan A, B, and C to any kind of obstacle or challenge coming in your path. So I'm like, that's why I like doing readings. I like doing energy forecast. I like to see what's out there. And then, when it's something maybe I don't want or I don't want to do or don't want to really experience, I know that I have the accountability or the ability to change that. And I think that people forget that. I think that sometimes when they get a reading, they think, oh, all of this crappy stuff is going to happen in my life, if it happens to be a reading like that. And they don't take advantage of the thought process of, okay, now I know what's going on, what's my strategy for success. And so that's why I like to be a little bit different when I read. I like to, hey, Andrea, how are you? I've had just like a crazy day. I mean, it was a good crazy day. I had to work in a couple of people in like an emergency basis today. So yes, I do that. Okay, we got cards all over the place. All right, so I would normally say, hey, check this out. But the stuff behind me is really boring. So let's do this, and you can check out that box. Okay, so this is the deck that we're using today, and I'm kind of laughing with it, just for the reason that I am always asked if I'm a witch. I don't classify myself as a witch. I'll just kind of say it like that. Not knocking witches. I'm not knocking witches. Um, but I was a practicing witch many moons ago, many years ago. And I would say that I am, if I was a witch, I'm a witch for Jesus or something along that lines. I don't, the connotation of the word is kind of like what disturbs me. I would say, am I a conduit? I'm a conduit. Am I, do I try to have happy, good vibes? Yes. But when people ask, or the insinuation of, I had to decline, spam likely, my boyfriend's calling. God, he's actually an ex-boyfriend, scam likely. But he stalks me because I'll block a number and boom, he shows up on another. But anyway, kind of going back to, what is a witch? Really, seriously, what is a witch? So if you're the mom that likes to do natural remedies or the dad that likes to do natural remedies, does that make you a witch? No. So it's kind of like the implication, the intention. Where is your heart? What does your heart say? What does your heart do? Meaning the emotional and the spiritual aspect of it. So I'm like, I don't like the connotation of that word, and I don't like the way that the word is being currently defined. So I don't use that word. If you call yourself a witch, I still, I love you. Great. If that's how you affiliate and that's where you feel that you belong, rock it. I just kind of like to call myself as a conduit, and that I am a conduit of whatever, of healer. Just kind of like a little sidebar note. One of my things with people using the word witch is when people start talking about doing manipulative magic, and I personally believe in free will and not casting magic in somebody's direction. So if you ain't in love with me, it's not cool for me to do a spell to make you fall in love with me, because I'm messing with your free will, I'm jacking with your karma, and I think that is a much more detriment in it. So if, it's all about your intention, and I just want to call myself, man, I'm a human, I'm a lover, I love peace, and I want to share peace. I may not always agree with other people, but I'd love to be able to sit down and find common ground. So that's my version of that today. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it, but let's get into this reading. Alright, so the very first card that we're looking at is the Ace of Cups. And that Ace of Cups is talking about an energy of being fulfilled and having joy, peace and grooviness through there. And then we also see, where the hell is my little thing? I can't find it. So we see that heart right there. So we're talking about fill my cup up with some love. That peace, love, and harmony. It's an energy of goodwill and good things. So we've got this energy of goodwill. We have an energy of good things finally coming through. And what's really weird on this is that even though it's like in an overflow, I want to say, my cup ain't full, okay? There's just stuff overflowing, but I don't see it's totally full. Doesn't mean that your cup isn't full. It's just meaning that we have enough of that love and joy coming in and out that we can share that with others. So what's our obstacle? And it's another cup. So we're talking a lot about what I'm going to say. I kind of feel this is an inner, like the cups really kind of have a lot to do with our inner energy. And the Nine of Cups, I'm going to say she looks sassy. Let's bring this up. She's got a sassy look to her face. She has her arms, crossed when I'm looking at this picture, but we got 9 cups, right? So I know that there is this sense of indulgence. We have a sense of having quite a bit that we can, and I'm going to use the word toy with. But what kind of gets me with this card is that I see that her arms are crossed and she got that sassy look. Her arms are crossed and she has that sassy look on her face. But for this, I'm going to say, this is, all right. So don't shoot the messenger when I say this. This is a card about self-indulgence and self-righteousness. So if we have this really good groovy energy coming in with the Ace of Cups, our block or our obstacle is thinking that we're too damn good for everything, or that we are in a sense of deserving. It's kind of like, well, I deserve this. Yeah, I deserve this. This is mine. I deserve it. That's what I keep getting over and over and over through my head. And even though sometimes we feel like we deserve things, is it out of spite that we feel that we deserve it? Or is it more as a compensation for our efforts? So what I'm going to kind of allude to is that sometimes we do things that we expect big, great things out of an action, not realizing that sometimes we just do something to do it. So this card is talking about good energy coming in, but our obstacle, again, our obstacle is having an attitude towards it of self-righteousness, that we deserve something regardless of the amount of effort that we put into it, or the effort or intent that we put into it. It's mine. I deserve this. Well, you didn't even study for that test. I deserved an A on that because I've been in class every day. Whatever that, I'm just kind of throwing out some different scenarios. So when we feel like we deserve something, even though maybe we really don't, or we didn't put in all of the effort to it that we think we did. And I'm not trying to be a killjoy on that, but that's just the energy of that card. That's all right. So now, if that was what our block or obstacle is, then we have this beautiful High Priestess. And the High Priestess, I'm going to say, is a lot about coming to terms within yourself, exploring, coming to terms within yourself, going within, but also exploring what I'm going to call our subconscious. Now, our subconscious, so in shamanic terms or shamanic effort, our subconscious is that lower world. Okay, so the middle world is our consciousness. The lower world is our subconsciousness. Damn, scam likely, leave me alone. And then our higher consciousness is that upper realm or the upper world. So what this card is telling us is that sometimes that we need to go deep within and really examine our attitude through here. Why did we feel that we deserve these things, regardless of how hard we worked or how hard we didn't work or whatever? This is saying that we need to really but we really need to go within and start looking at ourselves from within, and what is it that we truly want? Because sometimes when we have something that we feel like we deserved, it's not really that thing that we wanted, but it's just symbolic of the emotion or the experience that we want to have. And so it's like, even though we might feel a little bit defeated in that aspect of feeling that we deserve these things, or we deserve this, what is it that we really feel that we lack or that we are in need of. And that's what I'm looking at on the High Priestess. So it's like, even though things are going great and we feel that we deserve these or whatever, what is it that we're really truly looking at? Because it's not the material things that we feel that we deserve. The material things are only symbolic of the emotions that are out of balance, or our feelings that aren't being, our needs that aren't being met. And so it's like, if you're stuck in this crosswind of, yeah, things are going great, but I feel like I deserve more, maybe more. It's sitting back and go, what is it that you're really looking for? What is it that you're really looking at? Because we're feeling a sense of lack, or a sense of lack in our body or our mind and our spirit, that we're almost resentful of what we do get on there. And I was like, totally understand that feeling there. All right, so where are we going with this? What is the Hierophant, huh? The Hierophant is going to be bringing in this energy of institutions and following institutional rules, or following society's rules. Now, I'm going to ask you this question. Are you following by your own rules of engagement, or are you following by the rules that other people have placed upon you, or expectations that other people have placed upon you? Because I'm going to say this right over here. First and foremost, we see this Hierophant. And this chica looks like she's pretty demanding of self in that. And you're like, well, what the hell do you mean by that? All right, so the traditions or rules of engagement that we're playing by, the question here is, are you playing by your rules of engagement, or have you, and I'm going to question it just like this, have you lowered your standards to fulfill the needs of others so that you can play by their rules of engagement? Because if we kind of look back, and let me see if I can find this little card here. Okay, so if we kind of look back over here to kind of going back over through here, that High Priestess is about going within and going into your rules of engagement. So what I'm feeling here is that there is this sense of we have kind of lost touch, and it's, I don't want to say a warning, it's a reminder to be truthful and to be authentic to your rules of engagement. What are your expectations? Often we'll bend over backwards to fulfill other people, and then we end up feeling really crappy. We don't feel like our needs are being met, or that our voice is being heard. And so we become almost resentful in what we're doing, because we've lowered standards that we have for ourselves in order to make everybody else feel groovy. Okay, bring those folks up to your standards. Don't lower standards to fulfill somebody else's needs. And the Four of Cups is going to be talking about this, okay? It's kind of like the warning of when you do lower your standards, then you're really resentful, and I'm going to say, and kind of pissy mood syndrome, PMS and pissy mood syndrome, on the fact that your needs aren't being met. And that, you want to vibe here and everybody else wants to vibe here, but they just want you to come down to their level, and you're like, oh, hell no, I'm not doing this. That's what this is indicating, being very dissatisfied with the way things are rolling. And that has a lot to do with the fact that you are not making a choice. You are not making choice to honor yourself and be authentic to your vibe. So it's saying, hey, you're going to be unhappy. You're going to be a drag. You're not going to be where you want to be. as long as you are doing what everybody else tells you to do or living by other people's rules. Your rules, you've been working really hard at being the best version of you and being authentic and true to yourself. And then it's kind of like this warning of don't get caught back going into that same minutia, that same routine. Look forward, move forward, and keep that vibration going. And here's that nice kick in the butt, that reminder of about following your own heart. And this is I get a little bit of a romantic energy on this, and I think it has to do with that ding dang horse. Not so much the chica, not so much because she's got one cup of wine. It's not like she's got two. I guess we're going to share, right? But there's something about this horse. It almost looks what I'm going to call coqueta. It almost looks coqueta, like it's almost flirting in a tease with it. So this is a good indicator of breaking away from this yucky routine and finding something beautiful in your path, finding something that makes you feel giddy, something that makes you feel great, feel good, and you're looking forward and moving forward with that. So that's a heck of a good card in there. All right, and our last card, and I'm like kind of giggling here. It's the Four of Pentacles. And the Four of Pentacles is kind of, I'm going to say it's a hoarding card. It's where you're holding on to shit, holding on to things, holding on to stuff, whatever way you want to put it, and you're not down to share it. But the reason being that you're not down to share it, and let's look back over here, and this is what's making me think it, is that you see how they're kind of holding this coin or a pentacle right here, coin pentacle thing, and she's got both of her hands on there, she's got her feet on there, so she's feeling really, really grounded and really kind of enlightened in through there, and engaged, but she's holding on to this like and I'm not going to say like she doesn't want to let it go, but she's holding, okay, she doesn't want to let it go. But what I'm getting here is a fear of embarrassment. A fear of embarrassment. So it's kind of like when you are finally being your authentic self, your true self. So it's like, all right, let's say, here, let me go back over here. So let's say that you have a habit or a hobby that might be a little quirky, like, oh, I like to make miniature dwarf houses or whatever, or you do something, it's like, oh, you clog, you do the little clogging dance, something along that lines. Okay, it's like almost being embarrassed to tell somebody you do something, or you believe one way, or you are one way, because you don't want them to make fun of you. Now, it's not like, kind of coming out of the closet kind of thing, whether it be, telling people that you're trans, or that you're gay, or, that you want to be a carny for Six Flags. I don't know, whatever it is, It's like, not these really personal, intimate things that could potentially change the way that people look at you, but it's things like coming out and going, yeah, I know how to clog. Really? You know how to clog? And it just flashed in my head. I worked with this lady once, and let me just tell you, she really looked like she should be on the TBN Christian channel. She reminded me of, kind of like, the epitome or the stereotype of somebody that's like, and I'm not making fun when I say this, but like a real good Southern Baptist wife, a Southern Baptist woman. And I remind you, I've been a Southern Baptist before, so I can say this. And then we were talking one day and found out that she used to mud wrestle. And we're all kind of like, I expect that out of Carmen Electra, Pam Anderson, Rihanna, something like that. I did not expect that out of Church Lady. It really kind of freaked me out. So it's in there when I'm looking at this card. That's the message that I get, is about sharing some wealth of yourself, whether it, your gift, your talent, a quirky hobby or whatever, and being really afraid to come out and say that's what I do, because I don't want anybody to make fun of me. Okay. So in this, be yourself, be you, honor yourself, be authentic to yourself, embrace yourself, love yourself. Don't be ashamed of letting somebody know, or being, going, I love to clog, I'm going to go clogging. I'd love to clog. I think that is so cool. If you've never watched it, go on YouTube and look up clogging. I mean, there's some hell of a cool dancing there, and so there's a lot of groovy cool things that are out there, and sometimes we're just a little shy or embarrassed to let people know. I kind of feel that way about around my husband's family, about the work that I do and etc. And it took me a long time to feel okay enough to be able to be me in front of them, and I'm grateful that I have that freedom now. And so be you, be your authentic you. And guess what? I am doing private readings online. You can do a private reading online. I've got a Cash App special. It's $35 for 30 minutes, or 60 minutes for 60 minutes. Yeah, $60 for 60 minutes. It's on Cash App is how you would pay, so it's a little bit cheaper than if you go to my regular board or my regular scheduling in order to schedule an online session. So a little bit cheaper. I like Cash App. It's so fun. And guess what? I pretty much do readings at night, and I do readings in the morning time, and whenever I'm not seeing clients, I'm always happy to do a reading. And I'm also like working in my plant room. So keep that in mind, because you'll get to see the plants. So peace, love, and harmony. If you want to do a reading on FaceTime thing, just text me, 405-549-3766. Peace, love, harmony. I hope to see you very soon.